We in Harlem too. All my niggas Gumbo and Adam, we in Accra, getting that guacha.
When I'm on the road, where I shudder. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. Harlem to New York and all the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. When I'm on the road, where I shudder. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. Harlem to New York and all the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. Drip, dripper, drippers, 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 drip, dripper, drippers. Passport look up a sec, that explains so the swag. Dress code so white, but Gumbo and Squawk will pull up on black. Jim Jones with the stacks, the stubborn boys at the back. I pull up for your side, all dripped up, lick a throw. So when I'm on the road, where I shot down, we'll be grinding in the streets for the quacha. A brother for the side, yeah, back casa. I see my chick, call it shout out Gucci Prada. When I'm on the road, where I shut up. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. Harlem to New York and all the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. When I'm on the road, where I shut up. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. Harlem to New York and all the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. Let's go, drip, dripper, drippers, 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 drip, dripper, drippers.
When I touch down, I say a grabber. That's how they greet the Dun Dada. I get you smoked like grabber. All the clothes say Prada. Try to holler like hey ma. Ain't Ghana, it's a hey ma. We be getting money all day ma. Swatch right here, 100K ma. Yeah, we getting that guacha. Feds get you, they got you. Do a big who shot you. Hit them up, Tupac. I got niggas out of Accra. Been outside since the Accra. I'm a gold, I'm a legend. All my bros, all my bretches. Don't bring sand to nobody beach. Ain't Ghana, it's a body beach. Strip club, that's a body beach. Cops come to nobody speak. Cause we was stamping up the dope bags. Now we stamping up the passports. No more running for the task force.
When I'm on the road, where I shut up. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. I live to New York and all the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. When I'm on the road, where I shut up. Ghetto boy, but I know they give cover. Harlem to New York and on the way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute the Don Dada. Drip, dripper, drippers, 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 drip, dripper, drippers.
What's going on, family? What's going on? Y'all know who it is. It's Bukai Lumumba, the progenitor of LumumbaSpeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by betting on Black. Once again, as you know, this is a dual stream with Bequaline Network and Lumumba Speaks, where we're going to be unpacking my sojourn to Ghana. As we know, last week I took a trip, my first trip to the African continent. And of course, I was able to visit the African nation of Ghana 6 days, 5 nights. I'm sorry, 6 days, 5 nights, 5 nights, 6 days in Accra. Of course, we're going to unpack that. But I had to play that song. It just came out, remixed. I mean, they was banging that. I mean, we talk about, if the latest hit comes out, we banging the music. They were banging that in Accra. So, picked up on that. And of course, I wanted to share that with you all. But once again, family, I think this is going to be a light conversation. But the link is in the chat. Well, the link is in the description. I will put the link in the chat momentarily. And you all can tap in, of course, be part of the conversation. And of course, ask me questions about, of course, my trip to Ghana. Once again, this is going to be a light conversation, but definitely looking forward to hearing from you all in terms of the conversation that we're going to have, of course, on this evening. I want to first and foremost thank everyone who, the well wishes, of course, people, of course, wanted to advocate it and hope I had a safe, of course, trip there and back. And I was able to do that 10-hour flight from JFK both ways. So, and it wasn't first class. So, I was kind of cramped up, but No, I give thanks anyway. Once again, family, if you're watching, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. You're watching the dual stream with Lumumba Speaks and, of course, Be Quran Network, the Pan African social media extraordinaire. And we're unpacking my sojourn to, of course, Ghana, the first sub Saharan African country to gain independence from colonialism, of course, March 6, 1957. So we kind of unpack why this was important, why I took the trip. First and foremost, as a Pan-Africanist, I believe that it was unbecoming of me to have be a Pan-Africanist. I've never traveled to the continent. You know, that's one of the major criticisms people always invoke in terms of critiquing Garvey. Garvey is in the movement, the UNA, so on and so forth. Of course, many of the individuals who make that critique are uninformed that there were, of course, the powers that be that sought to prevent Garvey from, of course, coming to the African continent, because they believe that his organizing power would eradicate colonialism decades before it actually ended. And of course, we can even argue that colonialism actually never ended because of the advent of neocolonialism. So, of course, something to be cognizant of. But also, for me, it was a cultural clash. We're familiar with Islam. There's a requirement if you're financially and physically able at some point in your adult life to travel to Mecca. Right, we know even the Jewish community is seen as a cultural hajj, an ancestral pilgrimage to travel to one's homeland, and I believe that as an African American, that was the case for me. And it was I'm still really on cloud nine, to be quite honest with you all. I got in actually around 11 last night. I got home around 11 last night. So as you can imagine, I'm still on cloud nine. I still feel like I'm in Accra, right? But want to give thanks for that. I wish I would have gone during the Panafest. I didn't go during the Panafest. My goal is that the next time I travel to Accra, it will be during the Panafest. And if you don't know what the Panafest is, that is a Pan-African festival. It's been taking place since 1992. It's held every 2 years for Africans and people of African descent. And the idea of the festival, of course, is to promote and enhance unity, Pan-Africanism, and development of the continent of Africa itself. Activities typically occur at the festival, but the biggest issue was in terms of the Ghanaian government actually issuing an apology to people of African descent for its role, of course, in the transatlantic slave trade, right? So, and of course, we know the horrors of the River Passage. There are a number of healing rituals and activities that take place during the Panafest. So, definitely, I would make sure that next time I go, I will go during the Panafest. Also, family, it's summertime here. The weather was the same. It was just as about hot as here. It is here in Ohio as it was, and of course, in Accra. So if you have issues in terms of the heat or I can't take it, it's too hot in Africa, that wasn't the case whatsoever. Also, the jacket I'm wearing, of course, was made by a Ghanaian designer. And so, of course, I'm wearing it just, for today's show and also to promote brothers and sister on the continent who, of course, was able to make this beautiful jacket for me. And of course, it didn't cost me much as well. So if you're concerned with the exchange rate of the money, you get a pretty good exchange rate. I think it's about $1 American equals 15 Ghanaian cedi. So you'll do pretty fine there. So of course, during my visit, I visited a number of historical sites. Of course, the Black Star. A long time no see. Snapshot reviews. Appreciate you, brother. Tapping in. Yeah, it's been a long time, very busy trying to finish up the last sort of vestiges of my dissertation. But of course, tap in. You can be part of the conversation discussing my trip to Ghana. But of course, visited many of the historical sites. I will post some of these videos. Of course, the Black Star Square, Independence Arch. So that was a great moment for me. There was a brother who was informal tour guide at the Black Star Square, and this brother was dynamic. I mean, dynamic. It reminded me of the work I did when I worked as a park ranger for the. It reminded me of the work I did when I was a park ranger for the National Park Service, right? And of course, I detailed the history, the story of Paul Laurence Dunbar, the world's first world-renowned African-American portrait novelist, and then of course. The Wright brothers who were the first in flight, my hometown, Dayton, Ohio. So I was paid to, of course, talk about my hometown. But and Brother Mufasa Shabazz, appreciate you, brother. Haven't been there in a couple of years. Glad you made the trip. Definitely appreciate that. And make sure, hey, if you watch your family, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell. but he was dynamic. I mean, of course, he was able to discuss the significance of Garveyism. That's one thing, just from the conversations I had with a lot of brothers and sisters in Accra, they were keenly aware of who Marcus Garvey was. I was like, damn, you know what I mean? They knew who Marcus Garvey was. And of course, it's been 100 years since, of course, the height of Garveyism and UNIA. They were keenly aware of who Garvey was. So, of course, the brother who's a tour guide, the informal tour guide, I think is a disservice that the government wasn't paying his brother because he was off the chain. Of course, this was one of the things that he was doing as a way to make an income, right? So he was dynamic. He talked about Garvey, the influence Garvey had on Nkrumah. He talked about Nkrumah stated in his autobiography, which I have. I can pull it out right here. That the most important, the life and work of Kwame Nkrumah, right? And he talked about that the most important book that he had ever read was The Philosopher's Opinions of Marcus Garvey. He talked about Nkrumah. He talked about Afrofuturism. Like, brother was dynamic. But I mean, he was dressed rather haphazardly. And so, that was kind of tough for me because, it represented, unfortunately, the poverty, of course, that tends to be a bit omnipresent at times in Accra. So just something to, of course, be cognizant of if you're thinking of making that trip. And of course, I went to the Nkrumah Memorial, beautiful memorial park and museum. I mean, it's akin to Memorial Park and Museum that you would visit here in the States. I mean, just absolutely dynamic, beautiful. Was able to go and see the mausoleum, of course, where Nkrumah was laid to rest. Great museum of Nkrumah. Of course, J.J. Rawlings, of course, who has Snapshot says, how long were you there? I was there for a week. But actually 6 days to be exact. 6 days. My flight was delayed a day, so I actually flew out the next day. So yeah, I was there 6 days. J.J. Rawlings, of course, was the one who actually went about creating the Memorial Park and Mausoleum for Nkrumah. But he has, of course, a bit of a complicated history. So, Mufasa, you said 6 days in Africa is wild. Why do you say 6 days? All right, so break that down to me. Why you say 6 days in Africa is wild. But also, I visited the Du Bois Center. So, of course, I visited the W.B. Du Bois Center, if many of you are unaware. And the tour guide at the Du Bois Center, of course, was paid. He was dynamic as well. Of course, discussed the history of Du Bois, talked about why he moved to Africa, disenchanted with the slow rate of racial progress in America, and of course came at the behest of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to, of course, work on the Encyclopedia Africana. If you aren't aware, the Du Bois Center for Pan-Africanism is located in the former home. He said, you spent more time on the plane than on the continent. Nah, brother. I was 10 hours both ways, yeah, but nah. But I understand you wish I would have stayed there longer. Peace, wish to visit Ghana one day. Absolutely. So yes, those are some of the sites I saw. Probably a few others. Of course, I went to the Accra Mall. Just want to check it out. Not that I'm a big shopping person, but just see what it looked like. And I think of some other places. I have to probably look at the pictures, but a couple of things. I wanted to get the lay of the land, right? And so I had a lot of conversations with brothers and sisters on the continent, in Accra, in Ghana, regarding Pan-Africanism. They were keenly aware of Pan-Africanism. Many were disenchanted with the local government. One of the things that was discussed was the current president. I think it's Nana. Let's see here. Yeah, Nana Akufo-Addo has he's created the most ministers in the history of the Ghanaian government, right? So one thing that you would see if you go to Accra is typically all the ministers are driving Range Rovers. They're in military convoys. Because traffic in Accra is crazy, so they just going right through traffic, whatever, right? So people say that there's a lot of wasteful spending, maybe some nepotism going on, friends and family type plan. So that's an issue, and that they're not actually working to benefit, develop the infrastructure for the people. So that is an issue to consider. Had a lot of conversations with brothers and sisters in terms of their perceptions of African Americans. Some was that based on what they saw in the media and the images that oftentimes, unfortunately, African Americans project, there was a belief that African Americans maybe are overly sexual people, right? And if we look at what we saw in the BET Awards, it would make sense why people would come to that conclusion, unfortunately. Um, Also, many stated that they were happy to see African Americans returning, coming to their ancestral homeland, returning home. That's some of the greetings that I received. But also there was a concern with some African Americans being very disrespectful towards, of course, our brothers and sisters in Ghana, and treating them. I want to make sure I quote the sister correctly who told me this, treating them like if they were less than human, right? I unfortunately, because I spent a lot of time out, as they say, being outside, saw African Americans, particularly African American women, behaving that way, right? So it's unfortunate, right? You say, oh man, you're stereotyping, but I saw it myself, right? So extremely unfortunate. And then, of course, last but not least, a couple things, just the level of uber religious indoctrination. I mean, they would, you think in the black community, people are uber Christian. You go to Accra, you go to Ghana, it's at a whole nother level, almost, you could even argue, right? But then another issue was, unfortunately, poverty, right? So I made me think of a quote from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when, of course, he became president. He mentioned how they would measure. So he said his first objective was to abolish from Ghana poverty, ignorance, and disease. He said, we shall measure our progress by the improvement in the health of our people, by the number of children in school, and by the quality, of their education, by the availability of water and electricity in our towns and villages, and by the happiness which our people take in being able to manage their own affairs. The welfare of our people is our chief pride, and it is by this that my government will ask to be judged, right? So Ghana is a fairly developed nation, but what we find is, unfortunately, um, the infirm, right, tend to be, of course, on the street. You see a lot of children, unfortunately, in a situation where um, they're begging, right? And so I some of the just vivid memories I have when I was on Oxford Street really, really touched me, right? And it would just, for me, it reinforced my belief that as a Pan Africanist, one of the goals that we have, well, that should be paramount, preeminent, is to treat the material needs of our people as holy, right? To truly treat the material needs of our people as holy. So, um, yeah. So those are my thoughts, of course, on my trip. Of course, very happy that I was able to make it. Um, because I said it was a culture hodge for me. I didn't get to go everywhere I wanted to go, but if I have the opportunity to go again, I will make sure I do that. But yeah, treating our people's needs as holy, particularly the material needs. The material needs, I think, is extremely important. But Snapshot Review says is a tough one because the people getting educated will seek to leave if infrastructure and opportunities are lacking. Yes, so that's something that Walter Rodney talked about, the brain drain, where the educated leave. But I think part of the issue also is the government in which they're not using the resources and the wealth of the nation to, of course, benefit the people, right, and create a better quality of life. So that in itself is an issue, and we know that outside of maybe Nkrumah's administration and Adam Mills' administration, according to some of the conversations I had with brothers and sisters in Accra, typically individuals, like really in any country, when they seek political office, they're there to what? Enrich themselves rather than actually work to the benefit of their constituents. So we see some of these issues globally amongst African people and just globally in terms of politics. There was even some who were disenchanted with voting. It's like, I'm not voting, I'm just going to take my behind to work. I know one of the brothers that shared that, that life in Ghana was a struggle. He said that it was a struggle living there every day. And you I mean, it's a hustle and bustle. It's like being in New York City on 125th Street. Everybody's trying to sell something, but you kind of get the position. You understand that people are selling there because there's a need and necessity to be able to feed themselves. So once again, just vivid thoughts. But of course, I didn't go over there romanticizing. I knew what I was going to be walking into as someone who, of course, is an avid reader of contemporary issues on the continent. It's the snapshot asks a question. What are your thoughts on the alliances of Hill states? They seem to be trying to work for the benefit of the people, independent of the West. Yes, so that is a major development to keep in mind. Wish that would have took place back when Thomas and Carr was present. One of the things I think we need to look at is, excuse me, family. Like I said, I got in last night, so I'm still kind of tired. Is it going to be something that is substantial or simply symbolic? For example, we know with Togo is has a repressive political administration, and they're seeking to position themselves as a Pan-African government. They're even hosting the 9th annual Pan-African Conference, and part of it, and it's because they're window dressing, right? They're trying to put on a front that they are, of course, Pan-African in nature when they actually aren't, to try to hide some of the atrocities that are taking place there. I would even argue in the current presidential administration in Ghana, I would argue that it isn't Pan-Africanist in nature, but they use Pan-Africanism as a way to promote tourism, right? The Nkrumah Memorial, Du Bois, we talk about the Panafest, but in terms of the actual administration, I mean, people were arrested for protesting in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. People were right. So it's like, what the French toast is going on here. So something that we definitely need to keep an eye on in terms of, is it going to be symbolic or substantial, right? And we know that this is a major issue in terms of contemporary African and African American politics, in terms of typically what we find is symbolism and not substance in many of the movements and machinations of contemporary politicians on both sides of the pond. So something to consider there. A great question, brother. Listen, family, I want you all to tap in and be part of the conversation now. Put you guys many questions that you want. The link is in the chat. The link should be in the description. I believe the link is in the description. Tap in and be part of the convo as we are discussing my, of course, sojourn to Ghana. My trip to Ghana. I was there briefly under a week. I know, as a brother Mufasa said, man, I would spend more time on the plane. Right, but as you all can understand, got a lot of things to take care of, but definitely happy that I was able to make it out to, of course, to Ghana, and of course, as you know, as a Pan-Africanist, it was unbecoming to have not traveled to the continent. So definitely, family, tap in, be part of the conversation. And Mufasa, you've been to Ghana. How long did you stay in Ghana when you were there, and where did you stay? So that's a question I have for Brother Mufasa. And once again, family, the link is in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat again. And of course, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You're watching Lumumba Speaks and Bequaline Network here on YouTube. As you all know, Bequaline Network is the Pan-African social media extraordinaire. And of course, here at Lumumba Speaks, we believe that we can gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. And where did you stay at, Mufasa, when you were in Accra? Where did you stay? I was at the Signature apartment. I'd love to dial in, but it's 1:45 a.m. here, and I should get to bed. Snapshot reviews, I understand, brother. I think you are in the UK, if I remember correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And so I understand, but you got to call it a night. Appreciate you tapping in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and hopefully, I will make sure I do a show earlier so that you're able to be part of the conversation. Definitely appreciate you tapping in from to say jolly old London. So, Ashe, Black Power. I was not just in Accra. I also stayed in the Volta region. I was in. Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, I think that's I will go. I'm gonna go up to Kumasi next time I'm there. Spend some time in Kumasi as well. So very good. So if you could tap in, Mufasa, and just kind of share with me your thoughts of Ghana, the lay of the land, the development, infrastructure, and the people. But definitely would appreciate that. Just want to kind of, because you were there a bit longer than me. You said 2 to 2.5 weeks. So definitely want to hear what you have to say there. So, but I would tell you this: when I flew in, it was 7 a.m. Good AM time, and so I'm going through customs, and the agent, the border patrol agent, was like, "Is this your first time in Ghana?" I said, yes, it is. And he said, I could tell. He was like, I said, how so? He's like, I could see it in your eyes. He's like, I could see it in your eyes. So, definitely something um, to consider um, regarding when you visit, you're probably kind of going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say, right? Where they could tell that you are. This is your first time there, but I plan for it not to be my last, family. I plan for it not to be my last. So definitely looking forward to being part of that conversation, right? Anyone else who's watching, if you've been to Accra, if you've been to Ghana, if you've been to any other African nations, um, tap in and be part of the conversation, share with us. What were your thoughts? How did you feel? Were you emotional? And so for me, I was emotional. There was times where I just kind of sat there and just took it all in, like, wow, I'm actually on the continent. I'm actually home. I even went out to the ocean, to the beach, and kind of just said, wow, this is where my ancestors departed, many years ago, um, during the Middle Passage, right? So going, hearing the waves, smelling the ocean, right? Yeah, it was surreal. It was surreal. It was one of the few times I could say I was truly at a loss for words, overcome with emotion, But to be able to, have the benefit of being able to actually say, I've made it home, right? So definitely want to give thanks to all the friends and well wishers, particularly on social media, who were supportive of the trip. So definitely want to say thank you there. But any other questions that you all have for me regarding my sojourn to Ghana, please let me know. Please say we at least try to go to the top of the hour, family. This is going to be a short show, but I definitely think it was one that was necessary. I know one of the brothers told me is we want to hear about your trip, want to make sure that, of course, you had a good time, and that, of course, you made it there safe, made it back safe as well. I will say this, that when it was time to leave and come back to the States, I was melancholy. Yeah. Mr. Sandman, I see you, brother. I'm gonna put your comment up in a minute, but you could tap in and be part of the combo. But Mufasa, did you go to the Du Bois Museum? I did go to the Du Bois Museum. Yes, I did. And I have video of all of this. I will post all of that. So later. I was melancholy. One of the things, like I've traveled before, so I've been to the Caribbean, and I would say, Ghana looked just like the Caribbean to me, right? And so I'm accustomed to being in Black nations, but to be in a Black nation on the continent, and everywhere I went, it was us, it was us, it was us. And then leaving, knowing I was going to come back to, as I always say, the depth, decadence, and dysphoria of the West, I was melancholy. I was sad, right? And so, man, yeah, to say, I got to come back. So just something to, of course, consider. Mr. Sandman say that, of course, he's studying African spirituality. Orisha is very similar to Greek mythology. Why do they paint as witchcraft? But Shabazz says the Greeks learned from the Africans, so the Greek mythology is similar to the Orishas. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons that's painted as witchcraft is this is something that took place during the rise of anti-Black racism and, of course, white supremacy. That any and all things that came from Africa were painted as not only primitive but also evil. Right. One of the greatest examples of this. Snapshot reviews, did I vlog? No, I should have vlogged, but I mean I was so busy. And one of the reasons I didn't vlog was just the traffic. Like I was driving, so wasn't getting an Uber. I'm like, I gotta save money, so I was driving everywhere, and so that kind of took down some time from. But I will promise you all, I'm going to make sure I do that next time I go. I will vlog a lot. But one of the things in terms of just Brother Sandman and Shabazz, what we talking about. Yeah, so Brother Shabazz states this here, having to leave Africa, come back to USA with brings. Yeah, like I was sad, like literally, I was sad. Like I got to come back to this ish, right? Just ish. He says I seem very mellow. I would say I was at peace. Yeah. So you said you say I would say I was at peace, but the same man. I was at peace. Right. Yeah. And I would agree with you, Brother Shabazz. Yeah, you shouldn't really worry about that, right? But I was at peace, right? It was tranquil for me. I did that at the time, but also seeing the everyday struggles of our people, it touched me. It touched me to the point where, as I said it before, we have to treat our people's needs as holy. Have to. Um, have to treat our people's needs as holy. But yeah, you have to treat our people's needs as holy. So that was something that really, yeah, yeah. Because like I said, for me, Africa is where my heart is. I'm a Pan Africanist. I'm a Garveyite to the core, and just some of the things I saw, particularly when I was on Oxford Street. And I shared this with a brother earlier today, so I will share this with you all. I was on Oxford Street, and there's a lot of vendors on Oxford Street. There's also a lot of children and stuff because they know that's where a lot of tourists are. They ask for money, things like that. And so, like Brother Shabazz said, there are children out there. You see that they're not being educated, right? So you see them. You would infer that they're homeless. And one of the things that really got me was there was a young lady, and I'm gonna answer your question snapshot with you. Just give me a chance to get through this brief soliloquy, right? Um, I would say she couldn't be any older than 15, and I would presume that she was a sex worker. And it's one, I have a 14-year-old daughter, so when your child is still innocent and when they've lost their innocence. And I went into a restaurant, came out, she was on one side of the street, came back to the other side of the street. I walked down the street, did some shop, but I was looking at things. I didn't do much shopping, I was looking at things, and then she was on other. So I inferred that, and she was barefoot, and she was scantily clad, and she wasn't well groomed, like she was dirty. And it got to me that these are some of the conditions our people are living under, and we see this everywhere. Prostitution is everywhere. Children living on the street is everywhere. But to see that on the continent, in Accra, a country that at one point was the beacon of Pan-Africanism, had the fastest growing economy in West Africa, particularly at the end of colonialism, under the leadership of Nkrumah. We know the USA played a role in undermining that, and of course leading to the US-backed coup. So it's just a lot. It really got to me, like I said, with Brother Shabazz, and to see the children, like Brother Shabazz can speak to this. Traffic is a bear in Accra, but children are always basically asking for food, asking for money. Can you help me out? Particularly Muslim children. So that was tough. That was tough because it's pronounced. It's in your face, right? Particularly when you go to many of the historical sites, museums, so on and so forth. So that was something that, like I said, truly crystallized for me that we have to treat our people's needs as holy. Have to treat our people's needs as holy. At what age would you say you became conscious in the Pan-African? So I would say I developed a consciousness when I was probably around 4 or 5 years old. Tell you a brief story, and I mentioned this on my website. I call it the red bike moment, right? Muhammad Ali had a red bike moment. Somebody stole his red bicycle. It led to him, of course, going into a boxing gym saying, I want to learn how to fight. I want to learn how to box. For me, my red bike moment happened at the tender age of 5 years old, right? In which I was reading, perusing through my parents' ebony pictorial history of Black America books. And I came across 3 pictures. One was of Marcus Garvey. I recall reading it, and it stated that he wanted us to go home. And I said, I like him. 2 was the picture of a very statuesque, handsome, and physically imposing Black man, Joseph Cinque, who was the leader of the Amistad rebellion, insurrection. And last but not least was there was a picture of us in the slave ships. And I went to my mother and I said, who did this to us? And my mom said, white people. So I would say my consciousness came when I was 5 years old. I would argue that I became a Pan-Africanist in my mid-20s, right? When I actually became knowledgeable of what Pan-Africanism is, how it works, what it's about, what it advocates, what it's for, I became a Pan-Africanist. But I would argue maybe unofficially, I always was someone who wanted to connect with Black people from other places in the world, right? And wanted to be in solidarity with them at a very, very early age. I can recall when I was a freshman in high school, my homeroom teacher her name was Miss Kasai. She was Ethiopian. And I remember going up to her so one thing, if you all know, I'm quite sure you all are familiar, Ethiopian women tend to be very regal. That's just part of the culture. Their women are regal. And Miss Kasai was regal as well. And I remember going up to her and saying, I know about where you come from. And I said that Ethiopia was never colonized. How did I know that? I just knew. And she said, yes, that is right. That is right. So I would argue, I always had that consciousness, but officially, when I could say I actually understood in depth what Pan-Africanism was, I would say I was about 24, 25 years old. And ever since then, I've been a revolutionary Pan-African nationalist. So I hope that answers your question, but a snapshot reviews. But once again, back to Brother Shabazz, I agree with you 100%. That was very rough, seeing the condition of a lot of children who, of course, weren't being educated. And we know as adults what that would lead to. It was extremely difficult for me to digest. And so just my concern just once again crystallizes the fact that we have to treat our people's needs as holy, particularly addressing the material needs. One of the people said, well, the brother was telling me, well, you kind of thinking like a white person. I said, absolutely not. And I broke this down. I would share this all with you that African people, our labor and our bodies, right, was used as currency to provide the capital that led to the Industrial Revolution. Right, the Industrial Revolution led to what we would call the modernization of the Western world, particularly the United States and North Canada, and of course Western Europe, in which they're able to live lives of comfort and luxury. Right, even if you are someone who's working class, right, you're able to have indoor plumbing, hot water, flush toilet, right? Even in most instances, you're going to be able to even have central air, right? That's just base level, right? And that's not the case for everyone, right? When you go to developing nations, and so not having those type of I would like to argue are just basic, what we would argue are needs met here in the West can lead to living rougher lives, higher level of infant mortality, lower life expectancy, and so on and so forth. So, in my view, part of the work that we have to do is I believe that our people should be able to live lives of comfort, particularly when it's our labor and our bodies being used as capital to actually create the apparatus for people to live lives of comfort. So, so that's my position. Of course, you have to push back, but those are my thoughts. So. But once again, family, the link is in the chat. The link is in the description. Tap in if you want to be part of the conversation. Of course, we are unpacking my sojourn to Ghana. I was there for 6 days. I planned to be there for a week, but my flight was canceled due to inclement weather in New York City. And so as a result, they canceled my flight. We scheduled it for the next day. So I was able to, of course, make it out there. But 10-hour flight. So definitely if you want to go, I think there are 2 direct flights to Ghana, to Accra from two direct flights to Accra from the United States. One is from JFK, the other is from DC. So there are only 2 direct flights. Anything else you're going to have to connect. So if you want to have a direct flight to Accra, you're going to have to fly out of JFK or out of course, DC. Brother, what's the word? Mufasa, you're muted.
My bad. I was trying to get my audio together.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fine.
that's fine. Let me see. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes,
You
sir.
should hear me a lot better now, though.
Yes, I hear you just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm glad you took your trip, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I, now, how did you? How many people did you get to really speak with?
I would say probably about 3 dozen.
And then where were you speaking to them? And
So
you get what I mean by speak, like kind of talk, talk about what's on their mind more so than just, hi and bye.
right. So one
Yeah.
out was when I was at the Black Star Square.
Mm-hmm.
The second was when I was at the mall. Uh, third was when I was so I was staying in the I don't know if you're familiar with these signature apartments, and so they
No, I
have
don't know.
okay, and they have of course front desk people and everything like that, and so I was having conversations with people in those three spaces.
Gotcha.
And, oh, I'm sorry, and at the Du Bois Museum.
Did you see a lot of Americans?
Um, I wouldn't say I saw a lot, but I saw some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know when I was in Nigeria for a long time and I didn't meet any.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Nigeria for about 4 months. I don't think I met any.
I think,
Excluding like Nigerian Americans.
right. I will say one of the things that was pretty funny was like I think I was at the Black Star. I was at the Black Star Square, and the sister was she was like, "Oh, they go a colonizer." Like she said that she was a white guy. She's like, "They go a colonizer." So it was that was gave me a little chuckle. So
Yeah. Oh, in terms of white people, man, did I see any white? I was just saying like Black Americans, but
oh yeah. I saw some African Americans, and that's what I mentioned. One of the sisters was telling me how she feels that sometimes, unfortunately, many African Americans would treat Africans as if they're less human, less
mm,
human. And she said this to me, and she was like, "I'm not saying you behave that way." She said, "You've been very respectful and da 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 da." And I said, "No, I know what you're saying is true because I just saw that today when I was at the Black Star Square. You go out to like where the I forget the place. You know what I'm talking about? You go across the street, and it's a
yeah,
big stadium basically, and then there's the ocean. And so, as you know, people are always trying to sell you stuff. And there was
yep.
2 sisters. It was clear they were African Americans, and she was like, and the guys were trying to sell her something. She was like, "Man, get the f away from me." And I'm like,
To her defense, man, them people could be real aggressive over there.
I get that, but
Hmm.
I would say this. And you're in San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego, but I heard it doesn't rain in Southern California, right?
Right, right.
619. Shout out to the 619. But if you go to New York, people are very aggressive on the street trying to sell you stuff,
Hmm.
right? But the thing is, why would you go there and be an asshole?
Yeah.
That's just what I mean. Like I get it. Like maybe because I'm older, I've traveled it before. But this one of the things for me, and maybe this is just I'm not gonna go to another country and be a jerk. That just isn't gonna happen with me.
Yeah. I used to say that until see in Lagos.
Yes, sir.
You kind of have to, man. Like
Okay.
some of them people, they don't understand that now. But I could be justifying it. But I'm just saying, like sometimes, and when I'm in Lagos, you got to be like rough with people, Because when I first go places, I'm not gonna do that. I have your mentality, especially if I don't know the lay of the land. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just chill out. I'm not gonna be doing all that acting a fool. I ain't from here. I don't know nothing about nothing. But yeah, over time in Lagos, some people would be just too pushy until you kind of.
No, and,
Um,
and I understand that, but
mhm.
what I saw in terms of the behavior
Mhm.
was it was untoward. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's interesting because for me, that was one of my takeaways in my time in Nigeria. And it had nothing to do with Americans. I was just looking at them. I was just like, man, some of the upper class people, they talk to lower people like they're
Yeah,
nothing, bro. Like,
yeah,
they order them around like children.
yeah,
And I was just like, man, I see how slavery happened out of here, bro. Because y'all
yeah.
still,
I will say, that is
yeah.
something I saw a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, in terms, like,
It ain't like everybody's doing it. Yeah,
right,
let's
right,
not get it
right.
twisted.
But and you can speak to this because you've been there and you've even been in
Yeah.
Nigeria. That you see, like in any city, major city, you're going to see social stratification. You're going to see the haves and the have-nots, right? I remember reading, well, this was years ago, that Manhattan has the highest level of economic stratification of any city in the world. This is what they was arguing. I don't know if it's true or not, right? But you have the richest, wealthiest people in the world in Manhattan, and the poorest people in America in Manhattan, right? You see that in Accra, right? And you saw this people driving Range Rovers, Ferraris, Lambos, all type of ish, right?
What? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see a whole lot of that, but yeah, I know where it's in like the man. I forget the name of the main area where the school is. What's the name of that? The main, like where all the big buildings are. What's the name of that part of Accra?
I saw it around. Actually, when I saw this at the most was around the Du Bois Center. So you know they have like circle, like fourth circle, fifth circle, sixth circle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like around that area, there was like not big houses, opulent mansions, and so you see that. But then you turn the corner, and you're like, damn, it's kids on the street asking for money.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I was in. It was a little different in Colegonu. That
Okay.
place is kind of more hood. I was just talking to a Ghanaian the other day, but it wasn't really. It wasn't like that, you know. I usually tell people my story is a dude out here in Compton, a Ghanaian I did business with back in the day. I told him I was on the way there, and he linked me with his people and actually got me a free hotel out
Okay.
there. It was like a beach hotel, food, all that. They gave us some Hennessy, all that. And it happened to be in that area right there in Colegonu.
Okay.
But that's not like a popular area, and it's a beach, but it's not a nice beach, you know, and that's an understatement. It's a lot of pollution, a lot of it was wild in the sense of that, but I really enjoyed it, man. It was a cool area. Like I could just walk around. I had met somebody while I was out there, and I ended up going to like a funeral repast, like a little party with some people I met, and just got to really just hang out, you know, with just some normal people, and just walk around any time of night. You feel really safe in Ghana or in Accra or in Ghana, period. Because I was there and I also was in the Volta region. I always felt really safe out there, man. Especially Accra compared to Lagos. Like you don't feel that secure in Lagos as you do in Accra. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So why is that?
It's just a lot. People are more rowdy. There's a lot more sketchy looking people. A lot of stuff going on. And then from what people tell you, you know what I'm saying? So in Lagos, everybody's gonna always be like, well, Nigeria in general, but especially Lagos. I don't consider Lagos Nigeria, but we can have that discussion another day. I consider there's Lagos and then there's Nigeria. This is like two separate entities. But people are always going to be like, oh, be careful with all this or that. But in Ghana, you're not hearing too much of that. You might hear somebody say that, but it's not on a very high level. You know,
I do know that the Nigerian dollar is rated much lower than the Ghanaian cedi.
Yeah, exactly. The naira is tanking, man. The last I checked, it was like 1,400 naira to a dollar. And when I was there, when I first got there, it was in the 400s. When I first visited in 2019, it was about 450. Now it's 1,000 more naira to the dollar. So yeah, that thing's been going down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there go Zongo Native. He's from Ghana. I was just talking to him. He was getting on me because I was talking about how bad the beach looked in Colegonu. But you know, he was like, "Oh no, y'all can't do us like that. We got way better beaches than that." And I was like, "I hear you, but you know, the one I seen was looking terrible." And I know that wasn't like really the spot to go to the beach, but yeah, I enjoy Ghana, man. I enjoy Ghana. I don't like it as much as the other trips. It's actually I've only been to 3 countries, and Ghana it was the least good. I don't want to say the lowest because I love Ghana too.
Right.
But I like Nigeria better and even Benin Republic. Benin Republic is good because Benin Republic they speak French, but it's crazy them being right next to Nigeria and having so much. It's just so laid back in that place, man. I was in Cotonou.
Okay.
It's so laid back there, bro. It's so laid back, but everybody looks exactly the same as the Nigerians, but the feel and the energy is totally different in that city. You know what I mean? So I definitely enjoyed it there, man. And then all the culture, all the art, all the voodoo, man.
Yeah, 'cause, Benin used to be is where Dahomey once was.
Right.
And,
Yep.
Dahomey, the state religion was voodoo.
Yeah. Yep. It still is today. Voodoo is an official religion in Benin Republic as of today. Like from a government perspective and what people practice, but the government has it listed.
Right.
So yeah, no, definitely. So
And
they have the history.
real quick, family. Like this jacket I got was made by a sister in Ghana, in Accra. She made it for me. I have a blue one as well. So if you wanna hit me up, send me an email or whatever, put a comment in I could link you with her. So yeah, just like I said, I had a great experience.
Yeah. What other clothes did you get, man? Did you get any like kaftan or any full things made?
No, I just got these two jackets, and then I got my parents some stuff. So I told my parents. So one of the things in my family, just how I was raised, was my parents. Anytime my parents would go somewhere, they would always bring back gifts for, of course, myself, my sister, and my brother,
Yeah.
brother, and I. And so, of course, I told my parents, I said, I'm going to make sure I get you all something.
Right. Right. Okay. Did you get any kente?
Yes,
Real kente.
yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I actually already had some kente, but
Okay, I got you.
yeah.
Yeah, I got some. I still haven't got mine sewn up, man. Me and my daughter got some. I got my sister some. Like me, whenever I get it sewn up, like me, my daughter, and my little sister, we all could like wear the same clothes, but we still got to get it sewn up. But yeah, okay, that's what's up, man. Did you get a sense of any Pan Africanism in the mindset of the people?
Oh, so yeah, that was a big thing. I'm glad you asked that question, but I'm sorry I omitted that. So one of the things having that conversation, it was now once again, I only spoke to maybe 3 dozen people. So 36 people out of 2.4 million in the greater Accra area is not a relative sample, right? But everyone I spoke to, they were keenly aware of Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. They were aware of the issues of anti-Black racism in America, Black Lives Matter. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I mean, every person I actually sat down and had a conversation with,
nice.
every single person. One of the things they were talking about was how they didn't like Obama, right? And they talked about his policies and how they used the fact that he was Black to get him to do stuff that was bad. I mean, so I'm sitting there and I'm just learning. I'm listening and soaking it in. Like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Shout out to Mufasa Sabaz. Shout out to you, Lumumba Speaks. So how was your experience in Ghana? Where did you go, Lumumba?
Yeah, so I was in Accra. I stayed in Accra, greater Accra area the entire time.
For the most part, where exactly in Accra area?
Yes, sir.
Were you mostly like around like the tourist area or just?
No, matter of fact, let me look at. I could kind of tell you where I was exactly, because I was like really across the street from the Accra Mall.
Oh, okay. I see the place. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
get the actual street
yeah.
going. But
So were you at that hotel over there? Is it like
now I didn't have a hotel. I had an Airbnb.
Airbnb? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know
I
that.
was in Airbnb, and
Pretty much not far away from the airport, right? And,
yeah, I wasn't too far from the airport, but trying to get so I was in East Legon.
it's Legon. Yeah, it's Legon. Yeah.
East Legon. I was on.
Yeah, that's the area I was trying to. That's where the school is, right, Zango?
What school is that?
The University of Ghana.
Nah.
Yeah,
No?
it's in Legon, but not it's in
Not
Legon.
Yeah,
It's in
I
Legon.
was on Boundary Road.
Yeah. The University of Ghana is also in Legon, but I mean East Legon is like yes, he's right. University of Ghana is in Legon too, but
No,
not necessarily East Legon, but it is within Legon. Yes.
but the Legon is like a nice area, if I'm not mistaken. That's where like
Yeah.
the roads are better, the buildings are bigger.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
Like
for
middle
the like
class.
more or less, right?
Yeah, pretty much like African standard level.
No, but compare, juxtapose East Legon with Colegonu. What's the difference?
Oh man, vast difference.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
vast difference. Like almost like from the hood to the suburb or something like that. I mean, sometimes you go to certain hood in the U.S. It looks even
Mhm.
nice. You can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, Colegonu is not that bad though in Africa terms. It wasn't like a bunch of shacks or something like that. You
Yeah,
There's
but
some
Shabbat.
shacks there, but go ahead.
Yeah, Shabazz, where you want Caligula, I mean, the beaches, it's for free. I mean, nobody takes care of beaches like that over there.
Right,
If
right.
you go to like La Pleasure Beach, uh, you gotta pay some fee, but the beach is very nice, pretty decent over there.
Right.
So, yeah, I think you didn't go to Pleasure Beach. If you had gone to La Pleasure Beach, you probably would have like gotten a different response or experience over there. Because even recently there's a lot of diasporans going back, establishing even how do you call it, like uh entertainment spot over there right next to the beach and stuff like that. So I mean it's really developing. Yeah. Yeah, but Coligono is for everybody, so you shouldn't have high expectation when you go to a place like that. I've
Yeah,
never
but
been there before.
that's my favorite type of
Mhm.
I just like being in places like that, man. Like when I'm in Africa, I like being in just little towns and just go around. I could talk to people. Everybody's nice. I don't like being in places like I did a lot of the tourist spots in
Mhm.
Accra and I enjoyed them. But I don't like it when people can see me coming. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, and let me ask Lumumba, like, so, because I mean, it's like going pretty much, uh, it's pretty much considered like upper middle class, in Ghanaian standard. So pretty much, uh, the people over there are pretty much in tune with global politics. So it was very expected for
Right.
them to give such a feedback. Did you get opportunity to also like go to other areas within Ghana as well?
Um, I I would
You
say
can.
I would.
That was your first time, so you can't tell, right?
Right.
But do you
Yeah.
remember like
He only
okay,
has six, he only has 6 days too, by the way.
oh 6 days. But like, do you go outside? Where exactly did you go? Like, do you uh, you went to the mall? Did you go to like the Nkrumah Museum? Do you like
I
where
did.
do
I
you?
went to the Nkrumah Museum. I went to, of course, the Black Star um, Square. Um, yeah.
Du Bois Museum.
Yeah, I went to the
Oh,
Boys Museum.
oh, the boys. Okay, okay. That's yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. That's
So of
great.
course,
Yeah.
when I was there, of course, everybody was talking Pan Africanism. I mean,
Of course,
in the center, you know what
within
I
the
mean?
circle, yeah. If you go to Nkrumah Museum, of course they're gonna speak about Pan Africanism, right?
Right.
If you go to like the boys like museum over there, obviously the people over there they have some kind of understanding of pan-africanism. But like when you went to like the independence scale, like was a lot of the tourists over there, were they mostly like foreigners or they were like Ghanaians over there also as well?
Yeah, there were some foreigners, but like I
Oh,
said, there was an informal brother there who was the tour guide, and he was
mm.
just on point. Like he was dynamic. Of course, I tipped him rather handsomely because I thought it was a shame that he wasn't being paid by the government.
What do you mean, like at the independence square?
Yes, I mean he was dynamic in terms of his soliloquy regarding Independence Square, Nkrumah, Garvey's influence on Nkrumah, Afrofuturism, the whole nine. And the brother was dressed in a manner that was you could tell he was struggling,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
he was doing this as a way to make money.
Make
But
money, like it's like
but
hustling by
yeah,
in a very like like like
yeah,
black consciousness level,
he was a
yeah.
storyteller. But I mean, but he was. I mean, I stood up and was. I mean, if I used to do that for a living. I used to be a park ranger. And so
Yeah.
I was like, this brother's, I said, man, you should be being paid by the government to do this.
You're
See,
absolutely right. Go ahead,
no,
Fafa.
I was gonna say that's one thing I notice a lot in Africa. particularly Nigeria. I know I go to Nigeria a lot, but I spent a lot of time there, so it always comes to mind, and my deepest analysis comes from there because I just spent so much different type of time, really going into things. But when you run into people, and this happens a lot in Africa in general, and they have like some meager job, but you get to talk to them, and you could like see these people are like intelligent. Their
Yeah,
analysis is deep.
yeah,
Like it's like, damn, they just don't have no opportunity.
yeah. You be like, I was like, damn, like, I mean, that brother was. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, bro. Because I'll be asking because I'm not
He was articulate. He was. I mean, and he was. He told me he was from Jamestown.
Oh, James
Okay.
Town. Oh, yeah. Then
Yeah.
he's a gone man. Then
He's
most of
what?
like the ethnic group like called like the Ghan people.
Okay.
Yeah, they are mostly from Jamestown. I don't know if like he's an indigene over there or he's just residing over there.
Okay. And I will say
Mostly.
this:
Mhm.
I saw a lot of rosters in
Oh
Africa as well.
yeah, there's a lot of rosters over there. No, rosters are pretty much welcome in Ghana. You know, Ghana like Jamaicans have been there, yeah, and Ghanaians themselves too. A handful of them also like the Ras, how do you call it?
Rastafari.
Rastafarian culture.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was first there, that's all they called me. Because remember, I had dreadlocks. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? When I first went to Africa, I didn't cut them until a couple years ago. So yeah, everywhere I went, Rasta, Rasta, Rasta.
Yeah.
That's all they called me.
That's the culture over there. They're gonna call you Rasta
Hmm.
man. Yeah, but
Hmm.
it is all out of love though. It's all out of love.
Yeah, I was in Bandu. It's like
Ah,
Bandu. Yeah, Bandu something. But yeah,
yeah,
that's where I was at.
yeah. Pando is like that was on your way heading to Volta region. It's
Hmm.
still within Pando. I think Pando, if I'm not mistaken, it should be within the eastern region, right? That is before you get to the bridge, the Dummy Bridge, right?
Yeah. I mean, Bandu is right next to the Lake Volta.
Yeah,
It's
that
it's
Dummy
it's
Bridge.
not
Yeah,
all the way up. It's not what I think people think of when they say Volta region. I think it's like southern or something.
yeah, it's in eastern region. Yes.
Yeah, but we crossed some bridge though. I don't know what bridge you talking about, but we crossed the bridge.
Yeah, that's the Adome Bridge.
Okay.
The the bridge that help you to cross the Lake Voto. Yeah, that's
Oh, I'm
correct.
looking at my pictures now. Asu Ogyaman. What is that? Asu Omogan? I don't know what this is. I'm trying to look. Adomi Bridge. Yep, that's it. Adomi Bridge. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, Adome Bridge.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So Lamuba, how was your experience?
No, it was good. Like I said, it was so real. I mean, it's one of the few times I can say I was actually at a loss for
So-
words, just taking everything in. Kind of pinching myself. I'm actually on a continent. I'm in Africa.
wait,
So as I say, as a Pan Africanist, it was unbecoming for me to have not been to the continent.
It was
And
your first time on the continent.
yes,
Oh wow.
yeah,
So how did it feel like just being in a country full of like black people? You know,
yeah.
how did
Well,
it
I mean,
feel?
so I've been in countries full of black people before, particularly the Caribbean.
Oh, you've been there.
So
Okay, that's great. That's great.
So that's normal for me. But I
That,
had, but it was for me. It was the fact. No, I'm not only just in a country full of black people. I'm in a country full of black people in Africa. I'm not in Jamaica. I'm not in the Bahamas. I'm not in Haiti. Right? I am in. I'm not in Barbados. I'm in
mhm.
Africa. Even when I was in Panama, even though Panama isn't predominantly black, but I saw a lot of Afro Panamanians when I was in Panama. No, I am in Africa.
That's
And
great.
so that was the thing to where like a lot of times I would when I was in my apartment, I would just go out on the balcony and I would just keep looking and just look around and just take it all in. Like I am in Africa.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, like, what sent you to Ghana? Like, was you just like just get up one day? Hey, I just wanted to
Well,
just go on a vacation over there.
I have a connect there, a contact there, and I just felt that it was needed and necessary. Particularly, there were some things that were taking place in my personal life where I kind of needed to get away and I
Hmm.
have a chance to recharge, get a reprieve from some of the vicissitudes of life here in America. And of
Hmm.
course, for me, it was a cultural Hajj that needed to happen, many years ago. So having that opportunity, I was able to take that opportunity, and I truly give thanks.
Oh,
So
that's great.
you didn't make it to the dungeon?
No, I didn't go. I didn't go. I didn't go to the save dungeon. No, I
Do you
didn't.
not want to go there?
I don't. I guess just a direct answer would be no. I don't think that's something I want to experience. A lot of people telling me I need to go. I need to do
You
that.
you don't need you don't need to go. You don't need to go. Yeah, you don't need to go. I went. You don't need
Let
to
me,
go, bro.
yeah, let me ask
I hate that
Lamumba,
people say that.
what is your thought on that though? Do you think the castle? Because I remember like growing up, like
Dungeon.
yeah, yeah. I mean, sorry, the dungeon, right? When they say like tourist sites in Ghana, when I was in school, they included those places as tourist sites. These are like, do you think it's right thing for them to for Ghana to consider those places as like tourist sites or like museums, like for the locals or even foreigners to go to? Like, what do you think about it?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's something that the government is doing. Many people see it as a World Heritage Site. I think it's even many of those slave dungeons have been labeled as World Heritage Sites. Um, I don't personally take issue with that. I don't feel like it's a reprieve against me as a diasporan. Uh, I do know that during the Panafest, that is
Hmm.
that part of the Panafest. They take members from the diaspora to some of the dungeons and say, this is where unfortunately your ancestors, of course, disembarked from. So that I don't personally have an issue with that.
Oh, okay, that's good.
You know what? I had an issue that they were charging me a higher price. I had a big issue with that.
Okay, so you were charged the price. Okay.
Well, no, there's a foreigner price and then a local price,
Yes, yes.
and I was
What?
just like, to me, me and a white man could walk up to this thing and pay the same price. I had a big problem with that. I was like, bro, how you gonna charge me what they paying? I had an issue with that. You
So I
know?
would say this: when I went to the Kuma Museum, and then when I went to the Du Bois Museum, there was
Was
a
this
one
thing?
price. There was a one price for someone who was a Ghanaian citizen. There was a different price for a person who wasn't.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
And,
normal.
But wait,
and,
wait,
and
Lamar,
I
what,
didn't
what do you
have an
think?
issue with that because when I worked at the Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park, there were prices for people who were actual Ohio natives, and there was a different price for people who weren't Ohio natives.
Exactly. Yeah. I
And
mean,
one
it's
of
a
the reasons
normal
was
thing.
they wanted to promote local tourism as well.
No,
But
no, no.
but
I don't. Go
but
ahead. Go
then
ahead.
but then also you have to understand the local Ghanaian doesn't make the same earning as someone from the US. It's not even like it's you gotta understand like
No, 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 no. I don't care about the local price. I'm saying
mhm.
my ancestors came through here, and you're charging me the same as anybody else. So the white folks, everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're getting the same price as everyone else. So a white boy could come there and he'll pay what I'm paying.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but
I mean, like I
but
said, I
you
get where
gotta
y'all coming from,
you gotta
but it's
look at
just
it
to me.
from the more economic point of view. Maybe something better could be done, but economic point of view, there are people over there working on daily basis. They have to be paid, and the museums too. Over time, it get damaged. It has to be repaired. So there has to be some sort of like finance or revenue coming from somewhere.
Hmm.
So for me, I wouldn't have an issue with that because it has to be maintained.
Yeah, I hear that. And like I said, I'm not saying it should be free. I just don't. I don't know. I just have an issue with that idea that like we're paying the same thing as everyone else when it's like our ancestors that came through this. We don't get anything
Yeah,
from this.
uh, I mean
Like I just
mostly,
don't.
even
It's
mostly
insulting
Ghanaians,
to me.
even mostly Ghanaians don't go out. I've never been to the museum before when I was in Ghana. I mean,
I
I've
was
never
there. I
traveled.
went with all Africans when I went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and it was
I've
a
never been
couple of
there.
Africans in there. They were laughing actually.
Yeah, there are some Ghanaians that have money. They can travel far and go. Most Ghanaians don't even go for vacation. I don't have the idea. I didn't know about vacation until I traveled for the first time. So
Hmm.
yeah, so
So,
the money got to come from somewhere. If you
Hmm.
look at it from that angle, but the history is still the history of your ancestors that's been told to the rest of the world. At least the heritage has been preserved, right? That's how you
no.
should look at it from that angle.
Real quick, Kevin, aka
Nah, I don't see
Mr.
it that way.
K, He states at B. Kalon Network, curious question: have you visited any of the bookstores, libraries, museums, and college universities yet? So of course, I'm Bakari Lumumba from Lumumba Speaks, but of course, B. Kalon Network, we do a dual stream together. So I don't know what question you're asking there, but you're more than welcome to tap in to be part of the conversation, and then we can try to unpack what you are referring to when you're talking about, of course, has he visited any bookstores, libraries, museums, or college universities yet? Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, probably asking you.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I would just be curious. Why are you posing that question? I mean, you can see I got a library right behind me.
No, I'm
Right?
saying in our crowd, like, did you get a chance to go? You said you go.
Oh,
You already said 2 museums. Did you go to any bookstores?
okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't go to any bookstores or
Yeah.
universities when I've done that crime. And so one of the things I remember I was talking and I asked a question about, like, I mean, I'm there. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to lean in all the way, right? About possibly working at the U.S. University of Ghana. They're like, you don't want to do that. They don't pay people anything. That's what they said to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like one sister, she was like, you don't make a lot of money here.
Yeah, there's one brother that works over there. His name is Dr. Cambon. I don't know if you connected with him. He teaches at the African Study department at the University of Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Did you reach out to him or not? I mean,
No, I didn't. I didn't.
yeah.
Like I said, I was only there for 6 days, so it wasn't gonna be a lot that I was able to do.
I mean, but sometimes you might not. I don't know, like you might not necessarily want to teach for a longer time. I mean, it could be like almost like a volunteer service, just for a year. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do. I mean, if you ask me, but
Yeah, I actually,
you're gonna get paid though, so that's really understandable. It's almost
got
like go ahead.
no, yeah, I was gonna say I got a tour of the University of Ghana. I got to go all around the dorms, everything, because out here at San Diego State University, there's a exchange program. So there's a lot of students who do a year in at the University of Ghana, and it
Okay.
counts toward their San Diego State credits. And there was a sister I met out here. They had made like a little film, and I had covered them on my platform. I had like a local platform called Black Division,
Okay.
where I cover like local news going on out here in San Diego, in Black San Diego. And I had met them, and one of them, she had just came back. I met her, and then later on she had came back, and I was talking to her, and she linked me with somebody at the school. So I got to go like a full tour of the campus and all that. I actually went to Dr. Cambone's.
Office.
Yeah, I went to his office, but he wasn't there. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
went to his
That's
office.
good.
But I actually, me and my daughter had taken one of his classes before.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
I'll be to me, right?
yeah, bbtumi.com, exactly.
Yeah. So like, like the food, the people, like, what was the experience over there? Like the food.
Yeah. So I even went grocery shopping.
I'm
Right.
sorry, I got a meeting. I got to go. I'm listening now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I went grocery shopping. I think is it Melcom is the grocery store.
Oh, Melcom. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed was that the food I think was not of the same quality as here in the States.
Yeah, just be open, man. That's really understandable. Just your first experience, though.
Yeah.
That's really understandable. You mean like the when you went to I mean the food that you actually bought over there, you didn't like it or something?
No, I just like the bananas were much smaller.
Yeah, it's not a foreign. That's the local bananas. That's local. Oh, you don't like that kind of banana?
No, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying that it was smaller.
Yeah.
Like
That's
the food that I bought, like
in Ghana.
the apples were smaller, the bananas were smaller. Like when I went and got some lettuce, like over here, you get a full head of lettuce. There, it was just it wasn't a full head of lettuce that I purchased, right? So
Yeah.
things like that, just smaller quantities of the food.
Yeah. So like even in Ghana, like the bananas, we have like in the local language you have what we call the foreign bananas, and we have the local the local bananas. So the smaller ones is the local one. So I'm guessing like the one that you bought was the local bananas. Yeah.
Now, what I will say is when I went to the mall, there was a grocery store in the mall, which I was like, damn, okay. And and there the bananas were bigger.
Yeah, that's probably like because they're obviously they're expecting like a lot of the aspirants go to the
Right.
mall to purchase their stuff, and middle class, upper middle class people also go there to buy groceries over there too, which is really understandable, right? Oh, so you went to the mall? Okay, that's great.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I mean, I wasn't, I'm not a big shopper, but I just wanted to see what it was looking like. You know what I
oh,
mean?
of course, of course, of
And
course.
try to take in as much as I could. And so I was like, okay, one of the things that I did notice was that uh, some of the young women, they kind of dressed like they were, it was like African American style, midriffs, showing the stomach, tight jeans, Daisy Duke, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on.
No, that's if you went to the mall, I mean that's what you should expect. A lot of them are probably upper middle class or mostly diasporans that are staying over there, so they tend to live a Western lifestyle over there.
Right.
You know,
Right. Now, what I would tell you is this: that the traffic was. I'm like, damn, like the traffic was like,
the
like,
legal traffic is crazy. It's
listen,
crazy.
like I mean, because I was driving, so it got to the point where I was cutting people off. Like I was acting like I was there. Like,
Wait, wait,
hey,
wait, wait. You drove yourself over there?
yeah,
That's great, man.
yeah. So I mean, I had to get him. I'm like, nope, I'm cutting you off. I got to get here. And, yeah,
Oh
but the
yeah.
traffic was like,
Oh,
damn.
yeah. Over there, you gotta be. Hey, man.
Yeah, you gotta be aggressive. But it actually reminded me of driving in Chicago and in New York. And in Chicago, New York is like that. You gotta act like you damn near running a person off the road.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I noticed the moment when I was in Chicago. Like, nobody's gonna give you no space to
Nope,
get in.
nope. You better shit. You better cause an accident.
Exactly,
So
right?
because they was like, you don't have a problem driving over. I'm like, hey, this is like being in Chicago.
Yeah. You're right. Man, the cars are too many. The city, the population has increased.
Yeah. So it's extremely dense, extremely dense. And I thought about that. I said, Accra would benefit. And of course, this is the outsider. I'm just,
No, that's really understandable. I mean,
But, but I
for me,
thought,
I'm a different kind of African. I mean, I want people to genuinely tell their first experience. I mean,
right.
I don't care, like
What I
regardless
thought
if
was,
it's good or bad.
my thoughts were, Accra would truly benefit from having a subway system,
Oh, subway system. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
or
It's
an
like
L like in Chicago. But if they had an actual public transit system, I don't think it would be as congested. Because when I went to Panama, is a densely populated city, but it wasn't as congested because they had public trans.
exactly right.
They actually had a subway system, light rail, whatever it was called, I forget. But and I was thinking like, I think that's what is truly needed. Now we know that's going to cost a lot of money. We're going to get the money, infrastructure. One of the things I saw that there were a lot of high-rise buildings that were built like the superstructure was built, but then that was it, like just the frame. And I'm like, well, damn, like it looked like they stopped building the building, and they were like, yeah, this happens a lot. When people build some stuff, they get the contract, they build half of it and just leave. I'm like, damn.
No, I think it could be because a lot of people to like. I mean, you mean high-rising buildings? Is that what you're saying? I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes probably they don't have access to the capital yet, and they might have to, halt constructions until they regain, some
right,
sort of capital, and then
right,
continue construction. They don't have like that capital.
right,
It's not like in an advanced country that you're gonna have all your capital before you start,
right.
construction and everything
Public
of
construction,
that
right,
sort. Yeah, even the houses that you see, you might see some of the building is half completed. It
right,
doesn't mean they have forgotten about it. It means they're still gathering capital to
right, right.
continue
Right.
construction. Because
But
a lot of people,
I figured that too. Well, one of the things, of course, even in middle class, upper middle class areas, I mean, they got barbed wire on, they got stone fences and barbed wire at the top.
yeah. What was your thought about that?
It didn't surprise me. I saw the same thing in Jamaica and the Bahamas.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you have money, obviously someone's going to target you. I mean, I get it, we're all Africans, but I mean, they're still bad people regardless. Someone
Right.
is going to envy your money. Is going to.
And the thing about it is like when you be out, because like it's always just people walking outside, just all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, and you running around and you driving a Range Rover, shit.
Oh, you mean like? I mean, I don't think in the daytime people don't really like I mean there are robberies, but I mean still you still can ride good cars. I mean it's just like sometimes uh people target people if they notice that you might have some money in the house or something like that. They're gonna rob you. I mean
Right,
it's mostly people who are criminals by nature do the
right,
robbery. They are like I don't know, maybe born criminals, like that's how they are. They just,
right,
learn how to steal people. That's how they do their
right.
stuff.
And I mean, sometimes we know what happens is out of desperation.
Poverty too. A lot of people
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
poverty. Yeah. If you go to like the poor areas, most of them actually, from poor areas as well.
Right.
So what was your thought about like people like the people selling stuff by the roadside, chasing you like, are you gonna buy something?
I
Did you
mean,
experience that?
that didn't surprise me. Like I said, when you go to a major city, that takes place. That's just the nature of being in a metropolitan a
You're
major
right.
city.
I think I saw
Um,
that when I was in Chicago too, like that. I'm
yeah,
like, wait, they do that in Chicago too?
yeah, like and like if you like in New York, like they would put the shit in your hand here,
Oh,
$20. You know what I'm saying?
oh,
And
really?
you know why is that the case? Because people are. I mean, people are trying to make a living. They're trying to
Yeah.
put food on the table. They're trying to keep a roof over their head. So, like I said, that didn't surprise me at all. I would argue that um so like I said, I knew that's what that's what that was coming from.
Well, what I like the women with probably kids at the back and carrying stuff on their head.
Right.
Was it unusual to you, like the women
No,
carrying
no, 'cause
stuff?
like I said, I've seen all of that before.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
in a major city,
Yeah.
women carrying stuff on their head,
Yeah.
heavy load. Oh, really?
I said I've been to the Caribbean on several occasions.
Oh, yeah. Okay, in the Caribbean. I thought like in
So
the U.S. or something.
yeah,
Okay.
and I've been to the Caribbean. So you go to like I said, Accra looked just like Kingston to me.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, literally. If I would have fell asleep and woke up and was like, "Hey, we in Kingston," I would have believed you. Right? It looked just like
Yeah.
Kingston.
So, Lumumba, what about did you try something like the food at the restaurants or something like that? What
Yeah,
about
I
the
went to
food?
I went to a couple restaurants. The food was decent. I mean,
What decent? You
yeah.
used to order like Western food, or you try the local dish too?
No, both. We're both. So
Oh, okay.
but I've had African food on several occasions.
Oh,
So
you live in Columbus. So I heard there's a lot of
yeah. There's
East
a
in
lot of
Columbus.
African restaurants here in Columbus.
So
So
that's really, yeah.
yeah. So
That's really
that's not nothing new. Like I remember when I was with my ex, we would go to a lot of African restaurants on a regular basis for date night.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I
Yeah,
respect that.
yeah. Like we would, it was West African, if it was Congolese, Ethiopian, like we was there.
So what about like the Nkrumah Museum? Like, did you tip like people over there? Like how? Because like the museum was like renovated actually. Because like initially uh it wasn't renovated, right?
Mhm.
So I think after the year of return, I think a lot of the Pan Africans saw that, hey man, everybody, like I think the government saw most diasporans are mostly Pan Africans in their thinking, and they used to criticize, man, a whole person like Nkrumah, how could they leave their his museum like in a worse state? So they had to do something about it. So that was a renovated like museum that you saw. So
Okay.
do you think
Yeah, yeah. The museum was nice. The museum was nice.
did it has a lot of information? Was it like
Yeah,
more like Pan African?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's good. What about like the tour guide? Did they you didn't need a tour guide over there?
No, there
Just
wasn't a tour guide for the museum.
the writings was already there, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm glad. And you say you stayed there like for 6 days?
Yeah, 6 days.
Okay, for the most part. Yeah, I mean that wasn't. I mean, but that was your first time. So,
Yeah.
did you had any issues at the airports? Did they want any tips or something of that kind?
No, no, everything was love.
So,
Matter of fact, like I said, when I was going through customs, the guy, the border patrol agent, he was like, "Is this your first time in Ghana?" I was like, "Yes." And I was like, how can you tell? He said, I could. And I said, and I said, yes. He said, well, I could tell. And I said, how so? He said, your eyes. So I guess I was bright eyed and, bushy tailed.
Man, he's lying, man. He's just playing with you, man. I guess maybe you just being genuine. So I mean, you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. By hitting ask for anything from you or something,
No.
that's good. That's good because a lot of time people tend to say, "Oh man, they bribery at the airport." But I'm glad to hear from you that even your first time you didn't experience any kind of like bribery and corruption at the airport, like trying to extort money from you, which is really a good thing,
Right.
because
Absolutely. Yeah.
that should be the general standard.
Right.
We don't have to lower our standard.
Yeah,
Uh,
and so a lot of people argue, and of course you could push back against this because, as you know, I would presume that you are Pan Africanist, but of course you are a Ghanaian, so you would know more about the country than, of course, someone who simply visited for 6 days. And what I know about the country is based on what I've read.
mhm.
Um, but many would argue that sometimes one of the reasons for this level of bribery being pushed to public um, is because of the meager wages that people are making.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, bribery and corruption. I think there's a cultural element part of it, and I mean indigenous cultural element part of it, and then um, the minimum wage too as well. Like it's not sufficient wage, and I'll also argue that there's a greed too, also part of it too as well. I mean, the cultural element is generally from where we come from. If I come to you, Lamumba, seeking for something, right, and you help me, man, I'll be very grateful. So out of my appreciation, I can give you something, like a
Right.
gift or something. That could be, if you working in a public place, that'll be considered bribery, right? But it shouldn't be condoned. But I mean, culturally, people used to do it in the past. So Ghanaians or Africans still do it regardless. They still don't know the difference that hey, in democracy, hey, if you give a public official something, this is considered bribery or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's the culture element.
Now, and I
My
will say
mom,
that the Jubilee House,
the
that
Jubilee
place,
House.
the Jubilee, that place is beautiful.
Oh, you mean the Jubilee? It was designed like the stool, the Ashanti stool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Oh, you are you allowed to tour there, or just you pass by over there?
Yeah, I
That
passed by,
because
took a
there's a lot.
picture.
There was a lot of embassies around that area too, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
listen, it is beautiful,
yeah, it
beautiful.
is.
I said the White House looked like shit. It looked like a damn toilet compared to the Jubilee House.
Oh man, Kawa, are you sure, man? Lumumba speaks.
I'm serious, bro.
I've never been to the White House, so I can't really tell. But I've drove past the Jubilee House before. I think there's a French museum, the French embassy around that area. I think the Dutch and the yeah, it's really huge. It's really
Yeah,
huge. Yeah, you're absolutely
absolutely.
right. Oh, so you went there actually? Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Is there any place else that you? What about like the Dubai museum? Like, what what do you think about like the state of that museum? Like, was it in good state? Were the
Yeah,
workers
yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
there?
It was in good state. It was in good state, good
Who,
condition.
who, who like the workers? Were they African Americans
No,
managing
no,
the museum?
they were Ghanaians.
Oh, the Ghanaians, born
Yeah,
and raised over there.
yeah,
Yes. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Do they have like enough information about Dubai or something like that
yeah.
over there?
The tour guide was extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was extremely knowledgeable. So I give it to him 100%. Brother, aka Mr. K. No, I didn't buy. I didn't purchase any books when I was in Ghana. No, I did not. But yeah, he was extremely knowledgeable about W.E.B. Du Bois.
Oh, that's great. I mean, a lot of African Americans know like he died in Ghana and his graveyard is in Ghana. Do you think a lot of African Americans know about that? Oh,
I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. So, and that's another thing, So I went to actually, the of course, I would argue it's a mini mausoleum where he's buried. And so of course, I was a bit emotional. There and the site actually took video of it, um, where that's where he's interred. And this is a man that I've read about on numerous
hmm
occasions. In fact, I even have both his biography right? Both part one and two, right? And they're
Oh
pretty
yeah.
thick books, right? And so to actually have read this man's biography and then to be in this place in the space where he's actually buried, um, once again that was a bit of an emotional moment for me.
Oh, emotional moment for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, because sometimes a lot of African they say, "Oh man, the Africans didn't do anything." Man, Du Bois was actually one of the key advisors of Nkrumah. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
until before he was overthrown. But a
And
lot of people,
many people are unaware, that Nkrumah's administration hired several. He hired numerous African Americans in high level positions.
and that's where the problem came
And
from.
people took
Actually,
issue with it. A lot of people took issue
yeah,
with that.
yes, a lot of citizens. It's just like how most Americans are against migration coming. It's the same thing because I think a lot of the locals, I think they had like a little limited knowledge I- of like the diasporans. I mean, the
Mhm.
diasporan blacks. So they had issues like why is Nkrumah, employing foreigners to come to the country to take jobs that they deserve. So there was some kind of hate over there. I wouldn't blame the people in its entirety. I would say the opposition party might have played a part into that too as well, because at the end of the day they just wanted to confuse the people so they can come to power. So I mean that's politics at the end of the day. So we're
Yeah.
gonna
And a quick question, Brother Kevin. Once again, he asked, was I able to network with anyone from the African American Association? So yeah, I was able to connect with a brother, but it was the day before I was about to leave. So, but next time, I would connect. The UNI in Accra. The UNI has a headquarters in Accra, so I would connect with them, and of course the African American community in Accra as well. So next time I go out there, I will try to be there for more than just a week, and then I will make sure that I'm able to connect with some people and do a lot of work. So one of the brothers, one of the my Pan Africanist big brother Dwayne Omawale, who's of course the resident historian on the show. He even shared with me that when he's gone to the continent, his first time was kind of just personal, personal visit, and then of course with the subsequent times that he visited the continent, he made sure that he was actually doing the work for the benefit of the people. So that's my plan as well.
Oh, okay. That's
But
that's really great. I mean, yeah. So that's the issue that they had over there. They had during that time. Yeah, but yeah, Dubai and yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, they used to have like Dubai's Day in Ghana back in the time when I was in school or something like that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. He was really celebrated. Even Malcolm X and those kind of people.
Yeah, yeah.
They were, they were,
Everybody was familiar with Malcolm X.
yeah, they were celebrated. Yeah, they were celebrated. Yeah, I remember like back even when I was in high school, with little like kind of experience or even not introduced to Pan Africanism.
Yeah.
I knew about those kind of holidays, or like even those day, like the birthday of Malcolm X, Martin Luther, Du Bois. They
Mm,
were actually acknowledged when I was in schools.
right.
Most of the students, yeah, they had some kind of knowledge about it, which is really good. But it's not really at the larger scale. I wish um, you had opportunity to interact with the actually like the locals. I mean, people beyond just Islam. But that was your first time, so
Right.
at least uh, the middle or upper middle class people they're gonna have some kind of knowledge about something like that. Yeah,
Right.
it's very good. What
Absolutely.
about like electricity? Do you experience power outages while you're over there?
No, I mean I was told that that's something that could happen, but I didn't experience any power outages when I was
What
there.
about water supply, something like that?
No, I didn't have any
No.
issues with that.
That's
And
good.
I so even like a lot of people kind of took issue with you tend to find a situation in which um people are when you're there you have to hit the button to turn the water on, hot water on.
Hmm.
Then and I was like, well, I mean, you find that's everywhere. Like everywhere I've traveled outside America, you have to hit a switch, wait 5 minutes, then take a hot shower.
Yeah, at least you had a hot shower where you went. Labumu, where I live. I mean, I grew up like showering with cold water. I was pretty much used to that. Hot water, man, it's always hot in Ghana all the time, man. There was no need for a hot shower until maybe uh,
Yeah, because I
every
remember
now.
once, once I was dating a sister from Cameroon, and she was at my place, and she had used the restroom, and she washed her hands, and she came back, her hands were cold. I'm like, why are your hands cold? I'm like, you didn't. I was like, you didn't. I said, you didn't use hot water to wash your hands? And then she was like, well, nah, So summertime times, and she came from an upper middle class family, but like I said, in America, there had been a higher level of industrial development. Everywhere you live, you're gonna have a hot water heater in the home
Yeah,
or your
yeah, yeah,
apartment.
yeah. I
So
agree. I agree.
and so that's why I said, we want to definitely, be able to address the material needs of the people, because not having those things that, of course, are considered uh, that we take for granted here in the West, but those things play a role in, of course, the lower level of infant mortality, higher, life expectancy, preventing disease. Right? I mean, it's statistically shown that showering or bathing with hot water uh, 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 has an adverse effect on bacterial development. Right.
No, no,
So,
they do that, but they generally heat the water because a lot of them. I mean, this is like upper middle class really understand about. For the ones that do not have those kind of like shower tubs, to just go to like the bathrooms where you kind of pour the water in the bucket and you have a pail that you fetch the water and just pour it over your body because
mhm,
that's what a lot of people actually use, right? So generally, like if they feel the water is cold, they're gonna heat the water on the stove and kind of like mix it with cold water to kind of make it warm. That's what the general people in the country do. I mean,
right.
that is unlike where you went. Average like people, they don't have like, not everybody have showers. They have like bathrooms where you gotta pour water in the bucket, right?
Right.
And then you use the pill to take a shower. Like that's how it's been done. I mean, when I was in high school, that's what I did. So it's normal. Even though we had a shower at home, but in high school, you kind of learn a little. You know, that's where you learn life. So for me, that's how I learned my experiences. So when I was traveling, I was able to navigate in different conditions, without having the same necessity that I had when I was at home. So it kind of really helped me in some kind of way.
Understood. Yeah, because one of the sisters, she said, not everybody here, she said life here it's tough, and she said, not everybody is able to take a shower every day. She said that to me.
Oh no, no, I mean shower. No, that they can actually. They can. They
Why is
can.
that?
I mean, no, I say they can. They do take shower. I mean, twice a day actually.
Mm,
They do actually. Unless maybe if you live in a capital city, you get what I'm saying? Like you live in a congested area, you don't have access to good accommodation, you're gonna struggle, right? But
right.
if you live in your comfortable place where, because a lot of the reason why there's congestion in Accra is because people migrate from other regions to Accra because they think there's better job
Also, yeah.
opportunities and
Hmm.
something like that, right? So sometimes people live in slummy areas where, the conditions is not really desirable over there, but hey, they, they are looking for better opportunities. So in that case, they might, not have access to maybe water to take a shower or something like. But generally, when I was in school, from high school, even when I went to boarding school in Ghana, you were even required to take shower twice a day. In fact, when I came here, I noticed people were even taking shower twice a day,
Mm.
morning, evening. Yeah, but I guess it depends because I grew up in a different region in Ghana, so it will depend. Accra is a whole different city.
Okay. Yeah, and Kevin says, yeah, when he went to Uganda in '84 and then in 1992, he said, with his aunt and grandmother who lived locally in the daily bathing in the household. Yeah. So, yeah, bathing twice. Yeah. Okay, very good, very good, very good, very good. So yeah, I definitely appreciate being able to travel to Accra, and hopefully I will be able to go again. And next time it be for business and actually get some things done from.
What about what about communication? Did you experience some kind of challenge? Especially people who speak the local language over there.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I mean, no,
So,
not
so
whatsoever.
you rented a car. So did you have a friend? Do you have someone with you that help you to navigate the place?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, well, and I have my phone, so if I wanted to go somewhere, I just Googled it and then just Google Maps, and I was able to
Navigate, go all
yeah,
the way.
navigate. Yeah,
Do you take Uber over there or not? Not really.
I took an Uber to the airport.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Of course. I mean, it's easy. It's not that hard. Because
No, not at all.
me myself, like I didn't grow up in Accra. I grew up in a neighboring city, neighboring region next to Accra,
Okay.
like an hour drive to Accra. So anytime I came to Accra, I was just using Ubers. I was staying in Airbnbs. Pretty much, it was that easy to navigate. Sometimes when I hear a lot of people complain, I'm like, man, come on, they must be really, privileged living in America. Like it's that easy. They have a lot of tools, easy for you to be able to navigate yourself over there. What about like the restaurants? Did they understand you?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I had no problem whatsoever.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
no
good.
problem whatsoever. Yeah.
So, like, let me ask you this question. I mean, I get it that you're a Pan African, so sometimes you might be, be very positive or optimistic in your response or approach. But I
Yeah.
mean, genuinely, right? Or genuinely, how do you pronounce whatever? How do you pronounce it, right? What are some of the positive things that you saw when you went there, and what are some of the negative things that you saw when you went there based on your experience? Like some of the things that you saw, the challenges, not necessarily
Yeah,
that you
yeah. I
if
think
you
that think
can.
that's a great question. So there's a couple things. One, ECOWAS. I saw that some people, Ghanaians, that their passport, they had an ECOWAS passport, Economic Organization of West African States, right? So that of course is Pan Africanist in nature. I even saw like of course they were the African Union. They have a regional headquarters in Accra.
Hmm.
So that was a positive. Went by there. Was really excited to see that. Even though we know the African Union is a toothless bulldog. That's a conversation for another day. Um, there was a couple Pan African banks that I saw in Accra.
Like what?
I
I,
can't recall the name. I have to go
okay,
back
that's
and look. 'Cause I think I took some pictures, but I'll have to go back and
mm,
look. Um, so that was something that was you know something I saw. One of the negatives was just the so let me ask you this question because this is something I really was kind of wrap my. So when you're driving on the street, there typically is
mhm,
like a gap between the street and the curb. Like
mhm, the gutters,
oh, so that's why that's there. That they put the gutters that way. Okay.
the sewage, right? The sewage waste, is an open sewage system they have
Oh,
over there. Yeah,
okay.
it's an open sewage. I don't know. Like, I think it was something that was done during colonial times. I don't
Okay.
know why like they still maintain it that way. It has to be closed or something like that.
Okay.
You know, it all depends on.
Well, so I would just say that the thing that to me that was negative was just seeing the large amount of people who were living in abject poverty.
Oh, like by the roadside, they were begging for money, something like that. Yeah, really disappointing.
Seeing homeless people who they. I mean, when I was on Oxford Street, I'm sure you know what Oxford Street is.
Yeah, 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 I've been
Many
there
people
before.
walking down the street just barefoot.
Barefoot, bare naked, living naked.
Barely got any clothes on. Like I said, the young lady who she couldn't be a day over 15, and like I said, I think she was selling herself, and she wasn't well kept or well groomed. Like you could tell she was living on the street, and I mean that shit, it hurt my heart, brother. Like it hurt my heart to see that a lot of our people, growing up, living on the continent, are living in those type of conditions, and it just reinforced for me, my belief that part of one of the preeminent goals of Pan Africanism must be to treat the people's needs as holy and to address the material needs of the people.
Yeah, that should be the ultimate goal, right? Not to fight with the West or something like that. I mean, the goal is to protect ourselves from maybe external powers, right? But the ultimate goal,
It is and to me, it's to improve
the welfare of
people,
the people. Yes,
yeah, the quality of our lives.
look, exactly, right. That should be the ultimate goal. Not because a lot of times I do hear people, oh, trying to compare themselves. Why? No, why are you trying to be like the next person over there? Right. So I agree with you. Do you think like the people that you met? Do you think they look like mad people or like they look like sane people? What do you
They
think?
seem sane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they seem sane.
Because I mean, because generally, people they do have families, right? I mean, a lot of people that they do have families, and sometimes when you know their sickness go beyond their control, to just let them go. You know, sometimes they could bring them home, treat them. Some people might want to take the. Some people even take their people to even their villages for them to
Mm,
heal. But unfortunately, you can't even save a lot. And not everybody can save all their people. I mean, our people. Not everybody. I don't want to judge, but some people might be, were influenced by drugs. Some people also,
right,
did some kind of like, some bad things that kind of led them to that way. Uh, and others too, it just could be just, they just live in abject poverty,
right,
mainly because they moved from where they came from to the capital city. I mean, it's just like, just
right.
us, like someone like me, I could be moving from Ghana and coming to maybe Columbus. If I don't know anybody, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be poor because nobody knows me over there.
Correct.
So yeah. But generally, if you move like that, if you kind of connected with a religious organization, you can always go to your religious organization for help, right? If you're a Muslim, you can even go to a mosque or something like that. They can help you to
Right.
kind of adjust, find your feet to
Right.
something.
And that's one of the issues when we talk about Pan Africanism.
Mhm.
Where are the institutions? Like you mentioned, if a person has a religious background, they could go to a actual institution, a brick and mortar, and receive help or
Yes,
access to resources. And unfortunately, in many aspects, Pan Africanist organizations lack that
we
ability.
don't have.
Yeah, and so and I always tell people, and this is one of the critiques I made in my master's thesis, is that the work that we're doing, we have to go beyond simply cultural programming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Right? I mean, at some point, it becomes redundant. You're preaching to the choir,
Yeah, you
right?
have to have institutions, and this is why this other religious organization supersede us because they
Yeah,
have actual institutions and they are there to help people.
yeah,
Some people even sacrifice their life in helping people. Is there
absolutely,
a lot of people willing to do that? I don't know, but I'm just
right.
asking. Not everybody's willing to do that
This
because
is
these
very
religious people, because they believe in something called God, they
right,
are willing to sacrifice or dedicate their whole life for a cause that they believe they're going to benefit from in the hereafter.
right, absolutely,
And
absolutely,
even here, a lot of the times, I do hear you guys speaking about Pan-Africanism on YouTube Spaces. I've never seen one yet in America. Not, not yet.
one what?
An institution, Pan-African institutions.
Got you.
Haven't seen one yet. You know?
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah, yeah. I haven't seen one yet.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Well, brother,
Um,
I'm gonna call it a night. I don't know. Where are you located, if you don't mind me asking?
Washington State. It's now 7 p.m. now, so
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, very good. And it's 10 p.m. over here, so I'm
it's
gonna have
like
to,
seven. It's like
yeah, I'm
7
gonna
p.m.
have to
now.
call it a night. No, and one of the benefits, and I was sharing this with somebody,
Hmm.
just let you all know once again, I got back here to the states 11 p.m. I made it back home, right? 11 p.m. So
When
back
was
Ghana,
that? Yesterday or something?
yes, last night, but Ghana is
Oh wait,
only
wait, what?
yes,
Really?
yes,
Oh, okay. You
yes.
need a rest.
So yeah, my mind is still in that crowd, but I think people should be aware that Ghana is only 4 hours ahead of us here on the eastern seaboard. Yeah. So absolutely. So just something to be cognizant of. But once again, family, I had a good time in Ghana. Eye-opening experience. And a place, of course, I plan to return. But once again, family, you've been watching Lumumba Speaks and, of course, Bequaline Network, the Pan-African social media extraordinaire. Make sure you hit the subscribe, like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well. And you can be a blessing to the show. Make sure you cash app us at $ Lumumba Speaks. Until next time, you all know what to do. Peace.
Peace.